El día de hoy vio la luz Ghost Recon Wildlands, uno de los juegos más esperados de todo el año. Bueno, en todo el mundo, menos en Bolivia, que no están muy contentos. Pero yo sí que estoy alegre porque los capos de Ubisoft me dieron la oportunidad de entrevistar a Matthew Tomkinson, quien trabajó en el juego, y pude preguntarle un montón de cosas que tenía ganas de saber acerca de la creación del mismo. Así que, si querés saber cómo se hizo Ghost Recon Wildlands, quédate por ahí. Bueno, estamos aquí con un muchacho muy especial que tiene que ver un poco con esto que se ve por atrás y también con otras tantas cosas, pero le vamos a preguntar a él mejor a ver con quién estamos y qué es exactamente lo que hace. Hello, welcome to Freak Show.
Hello.
Can you explain to our audience who are you and what exactly is that you do?
So my name is Matthew Tomkinson and I'm a senior designer on Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I'm especially in charge of everything in the game related to UI, to menus, and making sure that the players understand all the possibilities that the players can have in the game, and they are very numerous.
What other games have you worked on in the last few years?
So actually, the last big game I worked on was Just Dance, and I was game director for this game, so a very different game. But the very first game I worked on when I arrived in Ubisoft is Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. So that was 10 years ago. And in this way, I come back to my first love with Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Uno de los detalles más importantes de este juego de mundo abierto es que, según las decisiones que tomes a medida que vas avanzando, el juego deja de ser lineal para ir cambiando según las opciones que vayamos eligiendo.
What I like in games usually is the freedom that they offer you, and I really like open world games. And this is the very first military open world shooter that you can play up to 4 players in co-op. And this is something that I really like. As a designer, it's super interesting because you don't plan in advance how the players will play. You just propose different situations, different abilities, and different items that the players can have, and they choose their own play style, they choose how they want to approach the gameplay situation, and they surprise you a lot. So what happens is that when you start in the game, your objective is to take down a Mexican drug cartel that took over Bolivia to create a narco state. And to do so, you must eliminate the bosses of 4 different operations. And it's up to you to choose how you want to do it. So you can choose, for example, to take down all the production and the smuggling, so that you rip off all the economic part of the drug cartel. And that will be my story. If you wanted to just to remove all the security and cut their influence, something that you can do, and we'll have the play a totally different game, you and I.
Okay, so how do you develop this kind of game? You travel to Bolivia, for example. How do you go about?
So what we do is that for us the world is really the core, because we want the players to go in a believable and something very authentic. So what we did when we chose to do Bolivia as a landscape for the game, we went there and we spent time talking to people, taking pictures, shooting movies, even recording sounds, to make sure that we have something that was very surprising, that was really exactly what you would have if you were to go to Bolivia yourself. For the military, so it's a topic that we know quite well, but we still work with specialists. We work with someone that is a former guy that worked in the special forces, and to make sure that everything that we do would be really the way that the special forces would do it.
La premisa del juego nos ubica en una Bolivia totalmente controlada por los narcos, en donde podemos controlar 3 grupos o facciones. Dependiendo a cuál seleccionemos, claro, cambian nuestras metas y pasos a seguir. There are 3 groups in the game, or factions.
Yes, absolutely. So there's even 4 if you count the Ghost as a faction. So you have the Ghost that are American military faction that are sent behind enemy lines, and no one knows that they are there. You have also the rebellion that is going to help you, and it's the local forces that try to revolt against the Santa Blanca drug cartel, which is the 3rd main enemy faction. It's really the people that you're trying to take down. And there's also the Unidad faction, which is corrupted military forces that will shoot you on sight if they find you, but that will also attack both Rebellion and Santa Blanca.
What about the multiplayer modes?
So one of our focus for this game was really to provide an awesome co-op experience. So it's a game that you can play from the beginning to the end in co-op. We try to remove all the barriers for you to play with your friends. Yes, exactly the same story as if you are playing solo or playing with friends. You will keep your progression and I will keep my progression. Yeah.
If I want to keep playing alone, for example?
Yeah. Oh, you can totally play alone. And you will be joined by the AI teammates that you can give orders to. And the game works perfectly fine if you play alone. But it's true that there is something special when you play with friends because they are bringing often surprises and you can even create tactics all together to choose how you want to approach. So let's say, for example, that yourself, you're up in a hill, you're doing all the recon, you're marking all the enemies. You can tell another guy that is a sniper to shoot down specific people, while there's another one that is in a helicopter, and another one that jumps out of the helicopter, going exactly where all the other ones were, the enemies were removed, to have a very global approach. And you could have, if you are playing another way, you could have someone that goes sneaky, or another one that creates a distraction by making explode a vehicle. So the possibilities are virtually endless.
But you have to start playing with them, or they can join later?
Oh, they can join at any time. It's really okay for you. It's like what we did, and it's not something that most games do, is that the progression is really seamless. So if you've played a mission and already, and myself I haven't done it, you can choose to help me on this mission. But if it's a mission that we haven't done, both of us, both will count towards our progression.
For you, what's the strongest thing in this game?
Well, it's difficult. I like the fact that it's a huge open world with lots of diversity. I like the fact that there's lots of freedom of choice. I like the fact that you play in co-op. But if it was one specific feature that I like, and especially when I play alone, is the sync shot. I really like the fact that you can plan your attacks during your recon, either with your drone or with your binoculars, and saying, okay, this guy here, and yourself, for example, we decide like to shoot at the same moment, and we can take down different enemies. And that's something where you feel very powerful.
Y sí, no podía dejar de preguntarle a un capo como Matt sobre la industria, porque desde chico soñé con trabajar en el mundo de los videojuegos y sé que muchos de ustedes también, así que le pedí algún consejo para poder llegar hasta donde él está.
What I would say is that in video games industry there's lots of different jobs. You can work as a graphic designer, you can work as a sound designer, you can be a producer, you can be a programmer. So the first thing is really to find your own field of expertise. And the best way to do it is to try different stuff and to see where you think you can shine. And once you do that, really dig into it, explore it. If it's graphic arts, draw as much as possible, learn as much as possible Photoshop, 3ds Max, etc. And try to gain as much experience as possible. And then once you do that, there are schools that are meant for it that can be good. I don't know exactly how it's done here in Argentina, but I know that in France, where the game is developed, we have specialized schools that really help you get a job in the industry.
Where can we get in touch with you? Twitter? Or maybe Facebook?
Yes, well, I don't use that much the social medias, but still it's possible to follow me on Twitter, yeah.
Great. And if you want to get more info on the game?
Yeah, well, you can check the website, and the game will be out on the 7th of March on PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Él es Matthew de Ubisoft, como ya les contó un poco, lo habrán visto subtitulado. Así que nada, un poco de data de este nuevo juego que está saliendo y en breve tenemos reseña. Así que en cualquier momento van a saber exactamente qué me pareció también a mí. Thank you.
Gracias.